Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Gadsden here, just popping in. Got a long ride today going to a business meeting. Well, not that long, but wanted to pop in. One of my homeboys just was hitting me about this topic. Asking about this topic, hypergamy. Y'all know if it's said different, I say it the way it's spelled. That's what it looked like to me. And I was telling him, I'm like, man, that's a real thing. And I'll tell you one thing I've learned from working with so many women in the space that I'm in as a relationship coach. And that's the stake that women put on, a lot of women put on a man finances. And how a lot of women cannot hear what you're saying when you're talking about finances. So when I say, listen, don't be with a man because of his money if he doesn't have character. Be with a man because of his character, even if he doesn't yet have money. Look at what he has, what he's doing. So when I say that, most women here be with a broke man that's gonna live off of you just because he is nice to you. And don't be with a man who has money, because men with money are dogs and he's gonna cheat on you. So be with a broke man. Now, that's what I noticed that a lot of women hear. Now, I didn't say that, but a lot of women cannot hear when it comes to the discussion about a man's finances. And here's the thing. One of the things I see often is women, in their 40s and 50s, 40 and up, they say, well, Tony, a man has to have money at this age, because if he's not making 50,000 at this age, what can he do for me? Like, how can I be with a man that's 50 years old and he make 30,000? Again, the point is you have to look at what he's doing to make that 30,000 and what that says about his character. Because see, if he makes 30,000 at 50 years old and it's because he was a criminal and robbing and stealing and selling drugs, and he got a record and he can't get a good job, and he's still that person, but just the streets done dried up. But if he had the opportunity to scam or to come up, he'll do that with a quickness. Then that's not a man of character. But if this man is a school teacher, and in his school district, he is working with kids at an F school, and the pay is $30,000. He doesn't want to retire until he's 55 or 65. And he has a bachelor's degree. So they are not offering him to be the dean of students or the assistant principal or the principal or the superintendent of the school district, because they're looking for people with a master's or a doctorate. And so he's a school teacher and he has a passion for helping these young students find their way. All the students love him. You see what I mean? Let's say he's a manager at a group home and he loves working with the disadvantaged youth. But the pay at a group home as a manager is $30K a year. He's 50 years old. So this is what I mean, how you have to look within, because a man, his income itself doesn't speak to his character alone. And the two are not always correlated. So yes, if a man has character, he's gonna make money, but it depends on what he does. he could run a nonprofit organization, and his nonprofit could get $100,000 a year in grants. And that nonprofit can be serving underserved, at-risk black males. And with a clear conscience and without getting in trouble, the most he feels comfortable asking the board to approve is $30,000 a year, $40,000 a year. So the question becomes is, are you going to pass on this man because he doesn't meet your income requirement regardless of his character and where his heart is at, and say, well, hey, I'm gonna find a man that makes $70,000 and has character? And it's like, okay, that's totally fine. Does that shrink the dating pool? By a whole lot. It does. Can't lie to you. So you have to think about that, and you got to really, and this one thing is, I was telling my partner, I say, man, you know, with a lot of women today, one thing I've noticed, if I say to them, going after a man for financial security, a man with money, it's not all that it seems. It ain't all that it's cracked up to be. I say, if I say that to them, a lot of women hear that as me telling an asthmatic that oxygen is not that important, that their lungs closing and them needing oxygen is not all it cracked up to be. That's not that important. That's how I realized that a lot of women hear this conversation. Because I see some of them comments, and it be a lot of women that's so defensive about their choice to have a income requirement on the man that they gonna be with, without taking into consideration the other factors that play into a person's income. Because a man could make 6 figures or even 7 figures, and he could treat you like a queen. But if he making his money fraudulently in a company that's, you know, cooking the books and doing immoral stuff, that speaks to his character. And so one thing that a lot of men struggle with, having money and not allowing that money to go to their head and make them feel like they can talk to a woman any kind of way or treat a woman any kind of way. A lot of men, when men get money, they feel like the woman is less than if she doesn't make as much money, or if she needs him to help with her bills. A lot of men feel that way. And you'll notice that, like, a lot of women can attest to that they had a man who was well off, but he cheated or beat it or dogged out, talked to her like nothing at times, talked down to her, called her stupid, made her feel dumb and insignificant. And she stayed because her mind was set on financial security, because she was very job scared. And I've heard a lot of women express the fear of being a woman and having to provide for yourself, and, you know, being a woman and wanting a man to provide and wanting a man to take care of the bills so that you could sit down. If you want to have kids, that you could sit down and be, you know, a homemaker without having to stress about money. And I get that totally, but you can't get that. You shouldn't want that in the place of your peace and your sanity, your self-worth and your self-respect, because you have the mind to be able to earn. And so as a woman today, you have every opportunity now to go out and make a living. And when you make that living, what happens is a man who is a provider man, who can provide for you, he sees you totally different when you are a woman who can earn your living for yourself versus being a woman who doesn't do what it takes to earn a substantial income, meaning more than 30K a year. If you don't position yourself as a woman in life to earn more than 30K a year, then that man may not see you the same way that you would struggle seeing him as like a real man. If he don't earn more than 30K a year, he will have that same struggle. If he's an older man, meaning y'all are 40 and up, and you haven't found a way at 40 and up to be able to earn, boy, look here. The devil is a lie. Absolutely not. The devil is a lie. Not me. Not today. Lord, keep us safe in the name of Jesus. See, that's why I don't be looking down. This guy just ran outside of the road and was on the side of the road slamming on brakes. Big old truck. That's why I don't look at the phone now. So y'all got to realize you just in here. The phone just propped up and you just in here. You just in here like you the seat, like you this passenger seat. Don't feel like I'm distracted at all. All right, because I'm just talking. This is what I do in my car, and that's why I buy nice cars, because my car is like my sanctuary. Like my car is like my prayer closet, and I like to be comfortable in here. Like to ride smooth, you know, be in my little bubble, could talk to the Lord, could hear. And some of my best ideas and revelations come from the Lord when I'm in the car. So that's why I shoot videos in the car, because I just have more clarity. In her car. So a lot of these men, so this man, he'll mess around and he'll struggle with seeing you as, because see, if you don't figure out as a woman how to provide for yourself, how to, you know, get a place to stay. It don't have to be a house. You could be paying rent, just as long as you got a roof over your head and you got transportation. If that's the metro, subway, whatever that is in your city, that's fine too. But being able to pay your bills, whether that's getting a trade, getting a degree, being an entrepreneur with no trade, no degree. I was looking at the young lady who sell the products for the locks, and how she touching millions. And the young lady who sell the makeup palette, and how she made $1 million in 30 minutes. The young lady who sell the hair oil for the hair growth, and how she touching millions. Another young lady I know does credit repair, touching millions. Another selling the weave, touching millions. Others got the online clothing boutiques, touching millions. And so it's like, it's ways to go out there and get it today. And so as a woman, to have a desire to be sat down so that you can be the CEO of the home, take care of the kids if that's in the plans, or just take care of the home, or just be a home wife, housewife, homemaker, whatever term you use for it. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with having that desire and wanting that to be, you know, your lot in life. But the issue is when you don't first become independent. See, you got to understand the maturity continuum. You have dependent, then you have interdependent. No, then you have independent, then you have interdependent. So if the goal is to get a man of standard, a man of character, a good man, if that is the goal, then you have to first be independent to be attractive to a real man. And so what I mean by that is, if you 16, if you 18, then what he needs to see is that you have a will to work. When I met my wife, she was 19 years old, but she worked full time at the jewelry stand selling jewelry. And she was a biomedical science major. So she got money from school too. And she was on the track team. And so that right there said ambition. Because biomedical science ain't nothing easy about that major. So she's doing a hard major. Her goal is to be a doctor. And she worked 40 hours a week. And she on the track team. I'm like, whoa. Eventually she let track go because the major got too hard. But she still was getting the track money. The coach let her still get her track money and keep her name on the roster because her GPA helped with the overall team GPA. That's something that happens in college. And so, but what that said to me is ambition. I'm like, whoa, this woman here is a go-getter. She a grinder. And then when we got together, my wife never asked me for a thing. Did not ask me for a single thing. So when I came into her life, even at 19 years old, when she got her money, her Pell Grant, it was free money, not a loan. When she got her money from school and her money from working, the money from school would be a lump sum check of $10,000. Our rent in our apartment complex was like $500 a month because we stayed in apartments, but each room is a different college student. So she would pay up 6 months of rent up front. So that right there, $3K. Or she would pay up a year, $6K out of that $10K. She would pay up lights and water or whatever it was bill, insurance or phone bill. And then what she had left over from work, she'll shop. Get her a new skirt. She used to wear the jean skirts that come about mid-thigh. She used to wear the jean skirts with a t-shirt with some Jordans. She was a sneakerhead. So in her closet, she had Jordans and Air Force Ones stacked up in the boxes. But all her bills was paid. So what that said to me, ambition, financially responsible. So now, if you are a woman and you want a man who has a provider mentality, but you come to him and when he meets you, all your credit cards maxed out and you spend money that you don't have and you're not learning about credit and you live with your mom. So now he sees that no different than you as a woman will see a man who live with his mama and his credit is bad and he spend bad. You like, so when he looks at you, he don't look at you the exact same because he's not looking for you to take care of him. But what a good man is, he's looking for a woman that isn't looking to be rescued. So if you come and your credit is broke, busted, and disgusted, and you haven't tried to send in them letters to try to repair your credit, you haven't tried to, get a job or get a raise or get a new job or try to advance in some kind of way or make something happen, if you ain't tried to do that, and if you living with your mom or your parents or a roommate, not because they need you, but because your credit and your finances are jacked up, then a man sees you as a rescue project. And so if a man see you as a rescue project, he's gonna see you totally different than if he sees you as an equal because you could get it how you live, and then he sits you down because y'all get married and you get pregnant, or you gonna go to working in y'all businesses and running things at the house, you CEO. So he sees you different because he knows that you didn't play on him for a rescue. You ain't from the Humane Society. You see what I mean? He see that you was on yours. And so now he like, okay. So it's kind of the thing of the same mindset is people invest in those who have invested in themselves. So that's why it's okay to look at a man and have standards and say, look, he need to earn X amount of dollars. Like, that's okay. But you also got to look at the other factors that go into what he's earning. But then too, you got to look at, when you look at this, you have to say, well, what am I doing to become what I want to attract? So I remember a young lady who made like 20K to 40K a year as, you know, as an entrepreneur, entertainer, artist type situation. And her income requirement for a man was $2 million. She wanted a man that make $2 million. I'm like, if you make 20K, 40K, and you living off of loans and advances, you know, from a record label or from whatever deals that you doing, at 40K, you're not going to be attractive to a man who make $2 million. That ain't going to be attractive, because he's not going to be able to believe that you want him for him and not for his money. So you're going to look like a rescue project. And he may see you as less than and may treat you as such. So the goal today for a woman in the dating world should first be to build yourself. Get yourself to where when you come to the table, you bringing a table to the table. Stop bringing a chair. Don't just bring no chair and don't just come with no fork and no appetite. Bring a table to the table so that y'all can say, listen, okay, now we can put both our tables together and we can have a feast. Or we could sell one of these tables and put that in the bank account. You see what I mean? Bring a table to the table. Now, your table ain't got to be as big as his table, but you need to be got you a table. And now, just to clarify, I'm not talking about a literal table. Oh, what Tony Gapp said, I need to have a table. I've been having a table. Bangkok, Buddy's Furniture. I've been room to go. I've been having a table. I'm not talking about a literal table now, okay? I mean, you pay for your place to stay. And I know some people, well, what about if I'm staying with my mom because I want to save money? It depends on what kind of savings you got. And it depends on, and so your narrative need to be, well, I'm just staying with my mom just because I don't want to be out alone by myself, because it's kind of, you know, it's cuckoos in the world, and men, you know, follow you home to your apartment, and they see you going in and out every day by yourself. You know, a lot of women are being, you know, taken advantage of, and stuff is happening. You know, that kind of need to be your narrative versus I'm staying with my mama just because I want to save money because I don't make enough money to pay rent without it hurting me, because now you look like a rescue. So it got to be like, so now the man on the other narrative that you stand because there's no sense in you being alone and your mama being alone because she's single too. When you work, you make good money. She work, she make good money, or she retired but getting a good retirement check. And it just, y'all get along, so it's better off staying together and just going splitting bills down the middle, or you still paying the bills but she living with you because she alone. So that's an okay narrative, because now the man, he see, you know, he like a knight in shining armor. He coming in and he like the rescue, you know, he like, okay. And now he also in that situation though, if you get along that well with your mama, he gonna want to meet your mama to see if she is like, if your mama got your mind, if your mama pimping you. Because see, it's a lot of mamas that pimp they sons or they daughters and got them so wrapped around their finger to think like, you owe me because I laid on my back and conceived you without your permission and brought you into the world on my own cognizance without your permission. But because I did that for you, and because I fed you and I clothed you, you owe me. You owe me to pay my rent or to pay my mortgage or to take care of me, you know, at 50, 60 years old. Even though I'm able-bodied and able to still go work, you owe me. Some mamas and daddies or parents have their child in that mindset. And so the man gonna wanna see, are you staying with your mama or your parents just because y'all cool, y'all get along? Or you staying because you got a 500 credit score because you maxed out all your credit cards and then lost your job? And then he gonna have to be getting with you and can't put your name on nothing because your credit's so bad, because you ain't did your credit repair or given enough time for it to fall off, but you want a relationship. He gonna look at you and that's gonna be a liability. So the thing is it go both ways. So the same way how a woman could look at a man and be like, listen, you need to have this right here in a row. What I want women who watching this to understand is, get out of the rescue project mindset. If you're not in a rescue project mindset, to where you just looking for a man to alleviate all your pain and worries because he got money, that's the wrong mindset. You looking for a man to retire you just because you tired of working, that's the wrong mindset. You shouldn't want a man first for money. You should want a man first for love and companionship. And then the money is the byproduct. The money is the bonus. But don't go to a man for money, because then that's prostitution. Go to a man for companionship, because you shouldn't need a man for nothing other than companionship. Meaning that if you had to, you can get out on your own, stand on your own 2 feet, protect and prepare and provide for yourself if you had to. But with this man, you won't have to do all of that. But that first have to be understood. So, hey, I got to turn my map on to see exactly where I'm going. Forgot to do that though. So y'all forgive me on that. But I was trying to take my time and explain this right here. And the whole goal, what I want you to walk away with, is don't be a rescue. Don't be no rescue project. It's all right to, you know, want a man to be financially stable and all of that, and want a man to have a mindset that he want to provide. That's all. That is okay. But don't be a rescue, and don't be looking for a man to just save you and just pay all your bills, and you just more so focus about his financial security versus his emotional and spiritual security. Hey, this is Tony Gasson. God bless you. We'll talk soon.